What's going on, guys? So today we're back on the Lowrider ST. You see I did the upgrades with the forward controls. We did the air cleaner, which gained about 4 inches of clearance. Yeah, pretty cool. We got the mini boards on there, and now we're about ready to move over to do the SP Concepts 4.5 Big Bore stainless exhaust. So we got this from SP Concepts. If you guys recall, I went over and did a site visit, met with Greg, who's one of the owners of the company, talked about their production line, did some backroom videos, showed the back workings of the shop and just how they go through things. Great bunch of people, super nice folks, high quality product. I can't wait to get this on the bike to see how it sounds. And if it's good, may take it on a couple other bikes as well. So we'll have to check that out. But we'll get everything turned around, laid out, and then we'll put it on the overhead so you guys can see all the parts that come with it. And then we'll step through this install and see how it sounds. All right, see you in a minute. All right, guys, so we got everything all turned around now on the overhead. You can kind of see everything that comes inside the package with the SPC Big Bore stainless 4.5 exhaust. So you got your various pieces that come down, join out the back to come in. This is a big back end of it. You can really see, if I can get up in there, there you go. Really see kind of just the craftsmanship and how much freedom and openness is in there. Look at these welds. These welds are just amazing. They're just super well done, high level of craftsmanship. I'm very impressed with the product. Can't wait to get that on there. Comes with a few sets of stickers, which is nice. You got the arms for the bag placement for the bag support arm, because we're gonna go from dual exhaust out the back to a 2-in-1. You get some nut plates and various screws to go in there, springs, which will connect on here to hold stuff together. And then of course, O2 sensor plugs and adapters for when you take yours off and put them on. So pretty nice, great quality product. Just cannot wait to get this all on there and see what it sounds like. So we'll get it all spun over on the other side and we'll start taking stuff off the Lowrider and start getting this thing installed. So, all right, see you in a minute. All right, guys, so we got it all turned around now. We're gonna start at the back of the bike for obvious reasons, because first thing we gotta do is we have to take off this right side bag. So you may be able to see a little bit down here. I like to have all my stuff laid out. So I have all the parts and the different tools laid out that I'm gonna need. Some may flex depending on what it is, because I think different bikes have different bolt sizes. We'll find out. But the first thing we gotta do is take off this bag and get it out of the way, because we're gonna be pulling this all off and we don't wanna scratch it, right? So reach up on the bag here, opens up your little door. Hard to see inside here from this angle, but I'm gonna put a picture up here in a second that'll show you this latch, but there's a little turn latch right here, just inside of here. There's down, which is green, red, which is up. And you grab a hold of this little knob, you pull it out and turn it up. Make sure you hang on to the bag. And you'll see this little flag will fly up right here. So once you get that up, close the bag and just kind of tap it back and pull it off. And there's your bag. There's a little tab I was talking about. So it flies up on the inside, and it's kind of hard to open it and hold it, but I'll show you in a picture on there when we get it in, but we'll set this aside out of the way. All right, so now you can see you got the top exhaust, the bottom exhaust pipe going up to the rear, joint pipe here in between, and then the one going up towards the front. There's heat shields on here, on basically all of it, and it looks like if you take the heat shields off, it'll probably be easier to get to these bolts up here, because they're pretty tight and the heat shield sticks out about that far. So I'm guessing it's gonna be in the way to try to get a socket up in there. So I'm gonna go around and pull off these heat shields real quick so we can see what that looks like. Now, from what I saw testing out, this looks to be an 8mm for the heat shield bolts. Maybe different on your bike. There's also a slot in there for a regular screwdriver, but I'm just gonna use a ratchet with an extension to keep me away from the bike. Okay, just to give you an idea how the heat shields work, they just basically wrap around, in front of this, they just basically wrap around the pipe and then thread into there, and then at each different attachment points. The reason why I also took them off is because I want to kind of show basically these like pinch bolts, if you will, that tighten on here and hold your mufflers on. So just to give you a good view of what the stock exhaust looks like and where these come off, that's how we're gonna have to take those off to get that off, and this piece here to disconnect to get those unmounted. So just wanted to show you that, maybe it helps. Okay, so now once we got these ones off so you can see what they are, you can see where these pinch bolt or clamps, as you can see that I like to call them right here, those go right there to be able to pull those out. And those are 9/16. You're gonna have to use a deep socket on them to be able to get past the bolt, right? But before we do that, I'm not gonna take these heat shields off. I'm just gonna leave them attached to the mufflers, but I'm gonna undo these two brackets. There's one right here with the 3/16 hex bit, and there's another one back here with a 3/16 hex bit. Now, the one's gonna be a little tough to get into because it's right up against the frame. So you wanna use an extension and just kind of push back on there to get it. And then we'll loosen up the top one, then we'll take these out, and then we'll pull those. All right, now we got those bolts out. You can see the exhaust is wiggling loose. So now we'll take these off, or loosen those up so we can pull out the mufflers. Now on some bikes we don't have muffler gaskets, but on the stock lowrider ST you do. You can see it right here. So if you're putting different slip-ons on, just know you'll need a new muffler gasket, because when you try to pull these out, they never go back in right. So there's one, and here's what the little cinch bolt looks like. Just logs into that group right there. Then you tighten this down, pushes down on there and pinches that together so it clamps that muffler onto the pipe. All right, and I was successful. So you can see how that muffler gasket fits right in there. But it's a tight fit. You try to take this thing out, it's gonna get destroyed. Here's two. Won't be needing these. Okay, now that we got that part done, we're ready to start working up on the front. We've got two exhaust header bolts up in here. Those are 12 millimeters, USA made. Two 12 millimeter there. You're gonna get kind of tricky, but you also have your O2 sensors here. Now other people have gone through and pulled this panel off, done all that stuff, but watching the video from SPC themselves, they just spin these out because these are pretty flexible. So I think I'm gonna try that and see if that makes it a little easier right now, right? So that's a 17 millimeter, at least from what I can see here. So we're gonna back these out, twist those off, and get these out of the old exhaust pipes, okay? Just like that. About 7 turns, just kind of hold your finger with the bolt and it comes right out. Now we'll do the same one on this side. Cool, so that's the easy part. We'll put the adapters on those before we put them back in, but you can see you just twist those up and then you can put them back in. And these are the little adapters that go on with the little crush washer. So that's just gonna go right in there like that. And to tighten them up, again, 17 millimeter, 22 millimeter it says. I don't have one of those though, so I'm gonna use a crescent wrench. Crescent wrench didn't work, so I'm using a 22 millimeter socket. Now that those are off, we're gonna start getting up in here to get these headers off. Now if those are off, we're gonna start going up and taking these 12 millimeter bolts out. Gonna get a little finagly. So you wanna make sure you probably have an extension and a couple angled extenders here, because some of these could be in an interesting position. And this front one is where we're gonna need this little guy. pull it out. And there's your stock exhaust. Now, this little thing came in here with it. This one is stuck in here. So we're gonna have to prop this guy out so we can use it for the snap part on this piece over here. So we'll get those out. Okay, so once you get those pieces off, you can see they look like this. A retainer ring here. This needs to go back on the new exhaust. So this is the part that goes into the manifold. Just make sure your ring is facing that way. Slide that piece on. Take your little snap ring and kind of get it started over this. Get it worked down on the edge like that. Take you some channel locks and just start pushing it down. Now it's behind that weld, so when this piece goes up, that sits right in that groove, and we'll push against the exhaust, and it'll go in just like that. Okay, so just make sure you do that and don't forget it. Okay, so now we're gonna try to get this started. We're gonna leave it loose, but we wanna get it up in position so we can start building the pipe. So we're gonna try to get this guy in there. Should be fun. All right, so I got that one started. So we know kind of where that's gonna go. And then we just have to figure out the rest of the pipe run and get that one started and then see how these fit together. Should be interesting. All right, same thing goes on this one. Get in position, get it lined up, and then we'll stick it up in there and try to get it started on those nuts. Now we figure out where the bracket goes so we can get that mounted on so this has a place to hang off of. All right, so I'm gonna guess it's gonna go right there underneath those bolts. And then the exhaust will bolt into here, into those nut clamps. But let's see. What's going on, guys? So as I was going through my editing process for this video, I realized that pretty much from this point forward, up into the test ride, apparently my camera decided to lose its audio. I guess I had a brain fart or something. So I've fast forwarded through a lot of the editings just so you can see at least what I'm doing. And then I'll put some text up in there to kind of highlight some things that I think are key. And then after that, we'll get into the test ride. And then we have audio and stuff back again when I switch cameras. So apologize for that. Sorry, I wish I could go back and redo what I did, but I'm not going to go take the pipes back off and put them back on. So anyway, hope it's okay. I do apologize for that. I did find out what happened, so hopefully it won't happen again. And enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks. Okay, so we got the new pipes on. Got everything all put back together. You can see it's all cleaned up. And now we're gonna go take it for a ride and see what it sounds like. Sounds pretty good. Let's take it out and let it get some legs. All right, let's stretch it out a little bit. Now I don't have a tune on this, I just put the pipes on, stock the way it was, and I'm not hearing any popping, so that's pretty good. There's some popping. Popping's not consistent, so that's pretty good though. Set some good power in it with that pipe. Sounds really good coming off. Handle's nice, no issues, no lights, no check engine light, everything seems to be good. All in all, pretty happy with it. I think it sounds real nice. I think it looks pretty good too. We'll get it set up to go get a tune and everything else and get it set up right, I think, just to make sure we get it tuned in and dialed up. But all in all, I think it was a pretty good install. Level of difficulty, I think, could be a little bit of a pain in the ass because of the trying to get everything finagled together with the pipes and all that. The bracket didn't want to line up right, so it needed a little gentle persuasion, but I got it. So once we got that all set to go, then the rest of it was pretty good. Tightened up real nice. Excellent quality, nice sounding pipe, and still would recommend them. Possibly considering it for the Road Glide as well. So we'll see, possibly the Heritage also. But that's about it. So like, subscribe, let me know any feedback or comments, and appreciate you watching. Hope this was useful, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, take care.